Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
No, don't worry, it's early. I went to bed. I worked
Radiant
some late hours, and I was like, I will get the minimum of 5 hours of sleep back up, and we'll do some more Dota. So, okay, uh, I'm gonna be fine, I think. And yeah, so it's exciting. This is like the very first thing that's at least I believe going to be cast here for the Philippine Major. So this is your Philippines only qualifier, which is kind of cool, right? I don't think we had anything like that really for
10
any of the
seconds
other
remaining.
little mini ESL ones yet or anything like that. So yeah, I shouldn't say middle.
5 seconds
Player, it's
remaining.
ESL one middle. That's going to get very confusing over the next couple months. Just happen to have these two big tournaments in the same
Reserve time.
spot.
Oracle.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Invoker.
Dire team pick.
Enigma.
Dire team ban.
Ah.
Radiant team ban.
Well, initially, like one of the reasons Enigma I think was so troublesome, it used to be just kind of like you pick Bounty Hunter or something, right? And it wasn't. Then you had to worry about the
10
counters in the mid
seconds
game. Like there was a
remaining.
lot of pressure put on getting things like a Rubik, or any other
5
longer
seconds
range.
remaining.
Like he was kind of the classic, just steal the backle. And then cast it back. And
Reserve
Beastmaster is actually
time.
pretty solid against Enigma in terms of like meta heroes that have the longer range BKB disable. Invoker will be fighting that without the BKB, so hopefully before that comes online, it'll be very helpful. But yeah, you're right. Like you don't often see with Bounty Hunter being banned out pretty often in the first phase. It's not that unusual. It doesn't really tip you off like it would have previously.
Dire team ban.
It's more of a drafting issue of how do you get into that junk? How do you deal with it? I think the most successful way is probably something like a dual lane with like an enchantress or something, something that requires him to actually be helpful. Most teams just opt for destroying the mid lane and allowing the Enigma to farm if
10
that's what it's going
seconds
to take.
remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban.
Yeah, I'm a little bit almost perplexed when I saw the OD ban simply because
10 seconds
he
remaining.
he's often seen as one of the better combinations up with the Oracle, and naturally I was just
5
assuming, all right, well they
seconds
think that
remaining.
Extreme snag it from them and take it, because every single game the Dire side
Reserve
actually have
time.
second pick, because most teams have been favoring the Dire over the past
Radiant
month almost
team
exclusively. So when I started to look at the little draft order, I'm like, wait a second, these guys have first pick and they have Dire, so really odd. Not sure. I guess that must mean that the Arena Pro team, I guess they're just down with the whole Radiant side, it would seem, and that creates some differences, right? So that means that I'm expecting something maybe a little bit greedier for their side as well. Some people still favoring the old
10
Radiant jungle, but
seconds
as well,
remaining.
the fact that you rotate like a
5
nice dual
seconds
off lane, I think that
remaining.
works better on the Radiant side as the Dire or aggressive
Dire
Trine lane,
team
perhaps with this
pick.
Vengeful Spirit. We'll see what it's gonna have in store for them. Next is kind of this mid lane, right? There's nothing too
Yeah.
aggressive with the Vengeful Spirit shown, so you don't really need to commit to something like or anything that's like super slippery in the mid lane. You can still look for a lane dominator, like possibly even a Death Prophet that what Extremis is looking at right now.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Looking for more damage, which is potentially as well why they
Reserve time.
wanted to ban out that OD. I mean, they could have run it in the safe lane, as you were mentioning, and pairing it up together with that Oracle would have been really strong. But I think that matchup and I will say that like taking those two heroes, the Invoker and the OD, this early might kind of expose them in terms of their draft and what it is that they're really going to be endeavoring to do. And if that happens, then you can sort of counter that out with other heroes. Not that there's a ton of great heroes that counter OD or Invoker, but regardless, at least you're going to be able to make it happen a little bit more effectively. So that's something that I think they were probably considering. And you mentioned that first pick on the Dire side at the beginning of this patch had something crazy, that if Dire did have first pick in professional games, they would win like 70% of the games. It was absolutely crazy. And we've seen a little bit of a shift. I know that you mentioned that at the Shanghai 2, it was like occasionally there were teams that would take the Radiant side because they wanted to get sort of that dual hero combo out really quickly. But for now, at least, it's going to be that Phoenix pickup. And this is the other sort of flavor of the month type of hero. The obviously Sunray max damage that you can get is absolutely ridiculous throughout the course of a team fight. And it really allows Phoenix to come online even at level 5. Like normally this is a hero that you'd have to wait until level 6 before it could do stuff. But I really have been loving watching all the Phoenix play.
Or even level 11, second point the egg. And one of the biggest reasons that it did burst on was the counter Lone Druid, and currently they have not only Oracle, but also the Invoker with the Alacrity and the Vengeance Aura, so Lone Druid would be like an insanely good picker for them. Now, as you said, like the limited amount of games they have had, they haven't picked up the Lone Druid, but honestly, I feel like it's one of those heroes that if you are serious about actually playing some slightly competitive Dota 2, someone needs to be able to play that hero. It's not like a individual kind of thing anymore. He's not exactly the hardest, I don't think, with Savage Roar these days. It's kind of like your saving grace, your little bailout button every single time.
I speak for the trees.
Dire team pick.
Clinks.
Radiant team
Thought for a second they might have gone for it. Extremis, they're one of the few teams that I've seen that actually do run it. And of course, we really don't know much about ACN Arena, considering that they've only had 2 official matches so far, at least on Dota Buff and where I was able to find them. But Clinks is well picked up. Another hero that kind of, he's been coming into the fold a little bit more, had one of the highest win rates at the Shanghai Major. What do you feel like are sort of the lineups that you want to see this hero in?
Reserve time.
Well, he definitely benefits big up against anything with like the
Radiant
the Chronosphere is one of the bigger ones that obviously you can get the long range damage. He's good up against anyone who's going to be bringing in the Chen or the Enchantress, and then other team synergy. It really is just all about control. So that's why they do go back for that Puck ban that was mentioned earlier, simply because Clinks is like massive amounts of damage, no control, but that means if you draft enough of it around everybody else, it's going to be okay. So Puck would be able to set up really nicely for good Black Hole, even just a nice spot for the Midnight Pulse, that first Roar, plenty of options available there. And it's when you commit to something like the Clinks, who doesn't have like a Stormhammer or something like that, then it does make it pretty tempting to make sure that you are getting that goal element out of your mid laner. I don't think we'll be seeing like a Death Prophet or something like that, to be honest. Always the chance.
Yeah, one other hero that they do tend to run when they don't get their tiny strat, which is something that they've run fairly often, is occasionally a Razor, which it's also not the best game for it necessarily. Invoker, well, he doesn't have the highest movement speed in the world, but depending upon which build he ends up going, he can mess with you a lot. But Ember is going to be the next pick. Another kind of. I feel like this guy kind of fell off a lot in terms of playability. Maybe it was just the sort of the revelation of getting a lot of heroes that counter him really well in lane. Invoker also, I feel like, does well against him in the mid, so he's kind of stuck back into that safe lane role, which doesn't always suit him the best. I mean, it does work incredibly well, but you require that large amount of farm to get online quickly.
Yeah. He's kind of slipped from being just last patch. He was tier 1, like first pick. Wouldn't be the most unusual thing. Usually picked up in the first 4 picks, but now he's kind of reached that point where he's just a solid 5th pick. If you notice they don't have a lot of control, or if you're feeling comfortable enough that you feel like the way they're going to play the game, you're not going to be caught out all too often. You can farm up those bigger items, but still be active early. Like, he can still join plenty of fights. It's got a decent synergy with the Invoker when it comes to like the Sunstrike combination with the Searing Chains. So I'm gonna assume this guy's quite the Ember Spirit player. And then side we've got the switch flip. We're just going right into a Pugna. Start heading into those towers. It's kind of interesting for it, like over the Death Prophet. It's more risky, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. That was something that I was really expecting to see. There was, one of those other, maybe the constant mantra that everybody says is tempo controller, but if the shoe fits, it really does fit in terms of the way that those heroes play out. But we'll do a quick little introduction for all of these fine folks here in this game. Fly Solo is going to be the Oracle for ACA down here in the southwest side of the map. It's going to be Ember Lu, who's going to be playing on the Nature's Prophet down here towards the bottom. Is going to be Isihan, who's going to be on the Vengeful Spirit. Gabby is going to be playing the Ember Spirit, and last but not least, we have G on the Invoker. And hopefully we don't end up getting too much lag again. I am casting this from Oregon. I believe my buddy Mapax is from the central side of the U.S., so hopefully we'll stick with it. But why don't you introduce the extremist?
Whoa. Eastern Canada? Come on.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, you guys have done yourselves over. I don't want to be a part of that right now. Too many issues going on, but it's going to be Oheb there on the field. Z for the bad on that, and then firing away, lonely from the rest of each god.
All the gods. They seem to be playing a lot of Dota nowadays, and hopefully this ends up being good. I'm kind of curious. Invoker already going for that early point in Quas. Definitely could end up being a Quas Wex Invoker. Although of course there's sort of the general rule of thumb that we've been seeing is going for the Quas Exort, maxing on out those Forge Spirits as quickly as possible, and then just cold snapping people to death, which also pretty freaking frustrating to deal with. Are you much of an Invoker player? Do you have a feel for which way tends to end up really being the best, or is it more just about responding to what your opponent is doing?
Yeah, I think it's just mostly opponent, and then of course your own lineup mattering a lot. Like within Ember Spirit, you're not necessarily looking to like 5-man group up all that early, and the Nature's Prophet already adds a nice element of split that you can add in from the Forge Spirit. He can kind of like boost up parts of your draft that are lacking, and right now the big part that is lacking would be that longer range initiation and the longer range disable, especially against the Enigma. Like going for the Forge Spirits and going for the Quas Exort, it's certainly not out of the realm, but you can see now, yeah, he's going for the Quas Wex because you just need that Tornado. Honestly, it's so good against Black Hole that if he's not inside, there's no way you get a good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that needs to happen, and looks like up in the top lane, a lot of damage being dealt over towards onto the Phoenix. Needs to be careful here. I mean, this is one of the things, and it's really the problem that you end up seeing with Nature's Prophet, is it can completely and totally destroy your supports in the offense if you're not careful, and already having a little bit of trouble, particularly when a lot of them are single target focused. I mean, Phoenix does a lot of damage later stages with that with the Sunray, but until that point it's up, it really can be struggle.
Yeah, and you see a lot of Phoenixes obviously going for the Tranquil Boots, not just because of the HP issues that she has, but the armor. Man, 0 armor, you can see the treants were just shredding. That's poor Phoenix, so pretty costly. He has level 2 with the Fire Spirits now, so this will start to turn around. They could at least, like, man up on him at some point.
Oh, they're starting to go for that a little bit, but still taking a good amount of damage. Does have the Icarus Dive available if things get a little bit too testy, but at least for now they look relatively okay. He's going to be able to pull this range creep off to the side. But yeah, it's definitely a scary lane. And then as far as the mid lane, I feel like Pugna is one of those heroes that can definitely counter out what an Invoker is doing. Although I guess it is nice that they don't have to worry about strikes in other lanes.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually a pretty big issue, especially when you have like the Sprout and then extra combinations up with it. If you can't quite snag yourself out of there in time, and as Priest mentioned, like this little duo of just an Ember Spirit and a Vengeful Spirit could have set up for a Sunstrike every single time.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you see right now as well the Beastmaster heading over off to that camp, the sort of natural place of the offlaner nowadays. It always feels like they end up heading over there, Stout Shield and, you know, Iron Talon, and then just jungling away like a good old offlaner. They get level 3 and they come back into lane a little bit more. But yeah, it's a scary lane regardless. It's really freaking terrifying. Oracle's damage, particularly, you know, once he ends up being at level 2 about top lane, are they going to be able to find him out here? A lot of damage. Enigma rotates in. All of those Eidolons are going to go, and First Blood going the way of the Enigma. That is not the way you want to start out in your offlane, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. So rotation is, now that is something that you really don't see on the Radiant side too much. Like a jungler being able to help out with such little effort. Like he was basically just moving camps, honestly.
Yeah, totally.
Go over and take down the offlaner. So nice little start there. The extremists.
Well, and it just sort of goes to show why, you know, Beastmaster is not doing the same thing. I will say that at some point in time, you know, we're at that 3-minute mark here. We're going to have a little bit of a big creep wave coming in. You've also got Ember almost with the Bassi online, and then you could potentially start to take on down this creep wave. And it does look like they want to start to push down this tower a little bit. Nature's Prophet has level 4, so he can bring in 2 points in that Nature's Call and maybe try and make a push on this tower. Oh, he actually doesn't have the Bassi, so they're not going to be getting the bonus armor right now. That's a little bit frustrating.
Man, he is going for this this mad little double blade or double null talisman to start up here for the Nature's Prophet. So expecting a lot of rotations. I guess that's how his plan is going to be to catch up. It's going to show up as to wherever the Vengeful Spirit, maybe the Oracle are roaming. Ganking the mid lane on the Pugna should be definitely a possibility. Doesn't even have any tangos with him. So watch for that if he steps further.
Yeah, definitely. See, this is the thing. This feels like a lost opportunity here for ACA. Like, they had a big creep wave that was coming in. They had a catapult with it. Ember, if you would have just stepped over to the side shop and picked up the Bassi, they could have gotten that extra bonus armor. Nature's Prophet TP's in, and instead he's just going to be stuck up here and probably just going to end up going down again. I mean, you see this very easy rotation over from Mad by the Enigma, and get the kills on these Nature's Prophet treants as well. Like, it's one of those situations where he rotates into that offlane of the Dire and is able to maybe even just get one Sprout set up on the Beastmaster. That's a pretty easy kill with those 3 heroes in the area, and they probably end up being able to do at least half damage to that tower. So a little bit frustrating start. They are going to now TP in towards the mid lane, going on to G. Actually, Sick is going to get surrounded by treants, and the rotation from the Oracle secures the kill. So a nice little play there. They make up for a little bit of that lost opportunity, and maybe going to be able to do something here in the mid lane.
Yeah, this is good, right? They can start turning around. And the problem with going to mid versus the bot would be the fact that it adds nearby. So it means your little Eidolons can come out and help defend the tower. Bottom lane, that rotation Nature's Prophet, which means I guess they'll have to run up top. I think he believes they have a ward here as well. He's taking it out as he died. Understandable with the way the Enigma's been pressuring him, but getting it done, understanding exactly where he's going to be without the need of those wards, and now they have a nice lane ward to sit there for when he finally does return.
No. Exactly, and the other thing that's kind of nice about this is, you know, Beastmaster has the luxury of being able to survive in lane because of that Call of the Wild. You've got, you know, the little hawk that's rotating around, keeping you vision on such a low cooldown. Again, Solo here is going to be able to throw out another one of these little jumps, and it does look like they're going to be able to rotate in, Sprout down, as well as the Magic Missile, and that's going to be a quick kill. Phoenix rotates in as well, but I don't know if he can do anything. He does throw out those spirits. Gabby taking a little bit of damage. They also had a TP. Can they find anything here right now? It doesn't look like he has enough damage, and is going to Icarus dive backwards. There's some things going on right now in this game, but I guess you just want to make sure you didn't go down. They are going to be able to almost kill off Fly Solo, but barely surviving. Still slowed by the boar. Ishion is going to continue to get chased. Is maybe going to go down. Can they find this kill? It's pretty close. The Oracle right on the edge of that Nether Blast did go down, but the Fairy Fire is going to save the Veg. So kind of a little bit of, I don't know, condolence kill or something on that TP out almost escape.
Yeah, pretty much. I was supposed to get absolutely nothing out of that, really.
Yeah. Well, and now you're seeing right here, they're going to be able to pressure this tower. Gabby's getting a little bit low from all of the creep damage, but again, it felt like they were ready to commit to defend this one, and now again, the Beastmaster rotating in with the big old catapult. This is the thing that they should have done last time around, which maybe they just didn't feel comfortable with it, but still, they're getting it done now. They take down the tower and not really be able to make it up, although there are 4 heroes right here from the Dire. My goodness.
Jeez, you think Mad was like rotating down with that first black hole or something, but he's the only one down there.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a quick and easy kill, and it looked like Ember's in a lot of trouble as well. No level 6 right now is going to get slowed down. Finally, the Roar committed as well. They just really wanted to make sure that they got that one. So well played. They are still pressuring the mid lane here, so ACA doing a good job, despite the fact that if you look at the way that the laning stage was set up, that's going to be about 1,000 gold swing into their advantage. The experience in particular was very much favoring the Dire, and they're still getting towers for it, though.
Well, they're also about to have the mechanism up on the Enigma, so this 5-man, very scary from Extreme. I'll start to group up, like, going into the next big thing would just be the egg on Phoenix, and it's not that far away.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They do TP in towards the mid lane. Ember getting a little bit testy here. Is going to be able to kill off the Beastmaster, and Phoenix showing here as well is going to need to TP away. The rotation forward not able to catch with the chains. Clinks is still here, might be able to find him out, and going for a couple of right clicks. No one that's available, does go for the Sleight of Fist, but still going to take that damage. One more is going to hit, and that's going to fly and kill him off. They did take the mid tower at the same time, but I think that that's worth it for the safe lane carry.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty damn good about getting down on the Clinks too. And, ooh, he is picking up that Sage's Mask, so it might be... it's probably just going to be the Medallion. We'll just...
Yeah, that would be a really strange one for the Orchid. I guess if you can slow down the Ember, like if he has to go back for Manta before they go Battle Fury, that would really cripple him, and his farm really has not been the greatest in the world. I don't know if he would ever go for that, though. But there is a good chance that Clinks could probably just kill him over again.
I had a Clinks go Orchid in a game recently, like on my phone, and I was just like, "What? Like, what year is it?" I don't remember. It's like ever. It's all about the Deso, the BKB.
Yeah. Well, a little bit of a spot here. It is going to be the Vengeful Spirit running away. They get the Decrep off. There's the Tornado. Oh, and just a really good counter initiation there. Pugna's going to have to back off, as is everybody else. So, a pretty nice little play to make sure that they're able to escape, and still people are farming in other lanes while we do see that everybody else is kind of out of there.
Yeah, this is the ideal scenario for ACA. Just the fact that the Nature's Prophet's still getting farmed right now while they're 5-man pushing, the Ember Spirit's getting farmed up, trying to get relevant. He's already got the bottle, the wand, and the Aquila, kind of your like 3 big items you want for fighting. And I assume Mega Push, he might just go right to the bots.
Oh,
that's pretty nice.
Look at how far forward they are. I mean, at the courier here, it had the chainmail, medallion recipe, and then a ring of protection for somebody. And they're bringing their courier pretty far forward too. That might get killed off as well. The Enigma does get off Maleficus now onto the Nature's Prophet, trying to finish him off. They're going to be able to do a lot of damage. Down on the bottom side though, they get the dust off onto QZ, dropping him fairly low. I don't know if they'll be able to contain him in enough time. Vengeful Spirits drop it very quickly. Oh, they got off the Fate Edict. That's going to keep him alive for the moment. Turns it back around. Are they going to be able to chase on down this Beastmaster? He does end up throwing out that aggressive Remnant, now out of mana, but fully healed up again. Needs to run away. Decrep off one time. The Phoenix damage is going to be there as well. Trying to run away as quickly as he possibly can, is going to be able to Remnant out, and they do get off a secondary Malphus onto G, but that's still going to be a dead Pugna, so 2 dead for nothing. And more importantly, just not able to punish this with this early aggressive lineup you have here.
Yeah, it's a pretty good moment there for ACA. The last thing you want to do is lose a fight after this big old push, and Z not being able to get that medallion off the courier. A little bit harder if he wants to try and grab a kill for the next minute and a half. It also stacks some of that gold up onto Gabby on the Ember Spirit, so that means he's getting close to whatever he'd like. I assume it's going to be bots. I think some Ember Spirit players might go right into the Battle Fury, possibly just because they might be like worried about the push. And bots, I think, is just going to cut out your farm and make sure you can join every single fight, though. So that seems more likely to me.
Yeah.
So they have the roar. 14 seconds.
Looking for it. Clinks is in the area as well, and he's actually thrown a remnant right next to QZ. So even if he does end up remnanting away, at this point in time, it's not really going to be to a safe spot. And QZ in the area still looking for his chance to go. No more Flame Guard available, and could potentially try and go for him here. They have other heroes in the area to maybe go for Aurora afterwards, and I think that they're going to try and do this. Ends up going for it, remnants away, but it's actually to the second one he just threw. So Gabby playing that smart, able to get away, and wisely did not go to his remnant that was already down.
Dire's top tower is under
Oh,
attack.
they're grouping up once more down bottom. The Pugna, oddly enough, not there. He's kind of like the biggest contributor to this, but doesn't look like it'll be necessary with just the Clinks, the Enigma, and start to set up somewhere for a defense, and they'll still get to trade at the same time in the top lane.
Dire's top
Yeah.
tower.
Well, I mean, you take a
It's
look
going
right
to be a
now.
war of attrition, I think.
Definitely, and I think that with the Beastmaster Inner Beast aura, that really does sort of turn the tide a little bit when you got all of these summons that are up. And net worth wise, you can see that, you know, he's not necessarily the highest in the world, but experience wise, he's been able to get a good chunk out of it with that Iron Talon jungling. And the pressure is still going to be coming up in this top lane. I don't know, it definitely feels a little bit weird though, because like they don't have their Ember Spirit with them.
Yeah, it's perfect. On fireman.
Yeah. Well, Phoenix now with Sun up, as you were mentioning, Supernova available if anybody wants to throw that one out, but it feels like maybe at this point they're still waiting for something else, and I'm not exactly sure what that is yet, but Extremis certainly getting stronger. They are also going to have those Necronomicons up pretty soon. The Clinks ends up being able to pick up his medallion, and it's not really the easiest to try and find a kill on these heroes here. Everybody has a pretty good escape mechanism.
Yeah, you really got to pair up with H-God here, so they're just, you know, going with the buddy system. Talk and spot somebody out and right into that roar. So far, of course, only going to be 3 seconds, and now they're both going to be spotted out here, so they'll understand exactly what's happening, and one way to counter this, of course, is to just group up. Start doing your own little push mover here from the Radiant side.
Yeah, and they could. The big smoke play. They're going to run right on into the Clinks here. Can they actually kill him, though? They go for the immediate dust, and it actually didn't catch him. So he's just going to be able to walk away from that one. They do kill off the bird, but regardless, he's looking for a counter initiation here. There's a roar up ready to throw onto G if they get eyes on him. We do have a lot of defensive supports in the area, so I don't think that they can find a kill. Well, all 5 of them are here now. Maybe they start a fight, and with a black hole up and available, jump forward. We do have the swap available as well. False Promise keep him alive for the moment. Oh my god, look at Solo go down. That was a ton of damage coming out from Siki, and with already being able to throw out that decrep as well as the life drain, there was no way he was going to survive that. And immediate pings come out across towards the mid lane, trying to pressure that one out, and they're going to see if Nature's Prophet can get tier 2 in response.
I actually can't believe Nevo there.
Oracle's a pretty good hero, man. He's a pretty freaking good hero. They're going out the minus armor, every little thing they can to try and keep them back, and unfortunately it doesn't look like it's going to be much. They take down the tier 2 tower in the mid lane though, so tit for tat, they turn it back around, and at least for the moment it looks like Extremists are going to try and back out. They're playing this pretty well. I think both sides are playing to their strengths right now, and you know, if you take a look at the difference in terms of team net worth, it's only about a 750 net worth or gold lead and then 2,000 experience. This is a pretty close game.
Yeah, I think just seeing the early picks of the Beastmaster Enigma, ACA did the wise thing and said, we need options that are available to us to like push around the map. We need that person who'd be out there farming either like an Ember Spirit or a Morphling or an Anti-Mage. Someone who is maneuverable, someone who can still join for the fights early-ish enough, but still, you know, be farming away when we can actually spot these big, mega group ups. And Nature's Prophet, it's kind of crazy that he's still able to get these good trades when he went at Null Talisman Blade Mail build. More seen for the, you know, big team fights, big ganks kind of play, and instead he's still that ret potentially that you kind of expect from the hero.
That was a little bit unfortunate right there. I'd agree. It's been really surprising, and I think that, you know, going back to the drums now, increasing the survivability means that maybe he's going to be able to last throughout it. But I guess, as you said also, you know, you've got extremists here who have been going for very much like a push-oriented lineup themselves. So they don't have heroes that can really solo kill him unless they commit one big team fight ultimate. Maybe the exception being like Pugna, but again, Pugna's not necessarily like the most mobile of heroes to be able to make that happen. And at least for now, it looks like, you know, going back for that Ags and going to be able to get it in a second here. They're going to try and see if they can take this mid-tier 1 tower. They drop them down the Nether Ward and pushing on out the creep wave. They've got everything that they could possibly want. Eidolon's up as well, and Nature's Prophet pushing along that top lane again. And you can see it's just they're all here, so he's able to do whatever he wants basically, just by virtue of his natural hero. And throwing out the tornado into the EMP combo, hits onto the Pugna, and that big old mana pool, it doesn't do a whole lot when it's empty.
Yeah, it's hilarious that with Blade Mail, like, QZ comes up to try and do something about it, and without a BKB, pops the Blade Mail, TP's home, because the Clink obviously knowing that he's just gonna kill himself first.
Yeah. No, absolutely, and I guess that's the thing, is like, even if they break off one person, do you think that there's a limit to this, as we're going to see Ember Spirit just get away? Do they just, like, you know, maybe show 2 in the mid lane and then try and rotate in, or do you think that would work even?
I'm not sure, honestly.
Yeah.
I think now that these outer towers are starting to drop, like, possibly Roshan might end up being actually going to draw us into some sort of a battle, because there's no, like, blink initiator from the side of extremists, so you don't really have to worry about your Ember Spirit getting caught out theoretically ever. It would have to be like from Fog Roar or something like that is the only way. And then it's almost the same for extremists. Like, the Venge just doesn't really have that mobility. She's just cracked level 6. Like, we're talking swap at 18 minutes. She hasn't really had any opportunities for big plays or something to catch out QZ, so both big cores are just farming away for both sides. But you would you have to think that it's kind of favoring HCA just because it is an Ember Spirit and is a Nature's Prophet, is an Invoker, and all 3 of them are topping the chart.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can see that movement down towards that Roshan point right now. They're flirting with TPing in, but spotting out a couple of people. They think the better of it and sort of keeping their eyes on everything, waiting for some moment. Roar, as you mentioned, very, very much a threat in these team fights, and Invoker here kind of testing his luck as he's walking up, spots the boar, and they are still in the area, throws out a tornado, so already down. There's it going to be on top of G, Sun on top of his one. Look at it fall. Immediately exploded right there. And this does mean that they don't have the Sun for the next little battle if it happens around the Roche pit, which is something a little bit scary. They do still have Black Hole, so because of that, ACR are going to respect it, instead try and go for a little bit more of the split push game.
Yeah, they're actually so annoying to fight the Roshan pit, even without the egg. You have to deal with the Nether Ward, you have to deal with the vision from the Hawks, just the worst scouting you out, and then of course the Black Hole Midnight Pulse to end it all off, so. And what stuns do they have? Like, with Roar being down, it's like Enigma.
Yeah, that's pretty much
so, like,
it.
Free TPs from the Nature's Prophet are kind of brutal.
Yeah, it's a struggle, and I wonder if you're going to end up seeing something else along the lines of, I don't even know what a great item would be at this point for Clinks. Like, you can't really go Abyssal or something else like that that allows you to have that stun ability. Solo barely going to be able to walk away from this one. Can QZ chase him down in time? Still doing the right-click damage. It does look like he's going to be able to finish him off in bits. So a nice little play there by the Clinks to find out now that super squishy support. And even though he does have, there was a chance there he might have been able to live if you could have Fates Edict the Clinks and then gone for the TP, but regardless.
Yeah, he's gotta TP faster, honestly, because, like, you know he has no stuns, so you just press R, TP home, and get that double fountain regen as fast as possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also the, you know, Fate's Edict right now, it's a 3.5 second disarm. Like, that's ridiculously good at being able to deal with the Clinks who, you know, every single one of those right clicks matters so much. But with the Desolator Aegis up, he should be able to start to take down some towers pretty soon. Jumping right immediately onto the Nature's Prophet. Lots of damage going back his way, but didn't pop Blade Mail quite quickly enough, and he ends up in for it.
Yeah, you can see he just moves right on top of him, just like hoping his reactions are fast enough.
Yeah.
That's the best play that you can make. There's that new orc with the Invoker.
Able to make it work. They're doing a lot of damage onto G. They dump forward, but they burst through the Aegis. So the Invoker dies for just the Aegis on the Clinks. He's still 2 dead on the side of the Radiant. Turn back around. Sun is pop. They have Black Coal if they want to use it. Oh, he had an opportunity right there to catch onto 2, but didn't end up going for it. And because of that, they're able to escape for the moment at least. So Sun Pop just to make sure that nobody ends up dying any further, but with 2 already dead, we aren't going to see the Radiant want to go for a buyback at this stage. They probably are going to lose a tower hero to some, unless they're able to do a ton of damage. Well, chasing further after the Venge, yeah, they're keeping it cool for the moment.
Yeah, Extremist definitely on a timer. One lead beating it with the crit stick from the Ember Spirit, and of course we need any of those other bigger items.
Oh yeah, he's doing a lot of damage though. They need to be careful. Drop it on down. Magic Missile gonna connect on the Clinks. They swap him back again. Black Hole onto only the Vengeful Spirit. They don't have the Ember, and this QZ is gonna go down. Meanwhile, the Nature's Prophet rotates in, almost gonna be able to finish off the Phoenix, and he does. Gabby's still chasing. They're going after H-God. Can they bring him down? Netherward is doing tremendous work his fight, but not nearly enough. 4 are dead, and just by the skin of his teeth, Pugna escapes. My goodness, they exploded like a spring. Holy hell.
No buybacks required, ends up being, what, 3,500 gold swap. Oh, 1,300 gold on the Ember and 1,200 gold on Nature's Prophet. It's like best case scenario. And move into what appears to be the Aghanim Scepter, so just going to help keep away this pushing, just buy more time, because now with the way these item builds are going and the way the game's starting to go, so unlikely that there's a late game win scenario for Extremists.
Yeah, I will say that going up against several heroes who have wave clear abilities is always scary when you're going as the Nature's Prophet. And Enigma sort of with the, you know, the Eidolons. Phoenix kind of puts the Phoenix at risk when you're going for it with like the Sunray or something else. But like the, you know, Wild Axes, it's these little things like that that always scare me. But you mentioned it. I mean, there isn't really a great late game win condition outside of just throw their bodies at, you know, at the side of ACA as much as possible. Oh man, that long range Aghanim Scepter upgrade ultimate with the Aether Lens on Pugna. That is scary.
And the
look at that range. That is absurd.
you can like save everybody. It's pretty good for the high ground siege. Clinks too.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, that seems to be pretty much the only option. Maybe getting another Aegis up on him is a possibility, but regardless, 5 heroes down here on the bottom lane with everybody else except for the Clinks right now on the other side. CUIK's in a little bit of trouble. Wild Axes again, keeping them back for the moment, but this tower is going to fall. They might be able to get a deny off from it, but my god, that Ember Spirit already does so much damage and does not even need that secondary item yet to be really terrifying. Again, his entire team is right behind him, so you've got this Oracle that can throw it out the whole time if, you know, a false promise needs to get engaged with, and G's still going to be, you know, taken pretty low, but look at how much damage it's doing, and they do end up backing out. The tower's going to end up getting denied, and they're going to retreat for the moment.
Yeah, the question is now, what can you get?
Oh my god. Tornado gonna connect, and they burst through that Phoenix. They're actually looking for more now. They're going for something like a swap. Are they gonna be able to catch on to anybody? There's gonna be the Fortune's End onto the Beastmaster, slowing him slightly. Gabby's still dropping low from that ultimate coming out from the Pugna, but fine for the moment. And they're testing their luck. That is for sure. Long range, jump forward, catch as well with the swap. They're going to be able to bring them on back, and that's going to be a dead Pugna. And now you've got 2 dead.
Tornado in 1.
Oh man, this is going to be a problem. EMP Tornado coming out in maybe a second. Do they end up initiating with it? Oh, this is just barely off of that Lynx. They put the dust, but it's not going to be there. And they might be testing their luck a little bit further to see if they can push up high ground.
Just Dragonlance poker things. All right.
Have you seen this build before?
Range. I don't know. That's what I'm too familiar with. I guess with Alacrity, right? You know, become the turret.
I've seen it a couple of times when Dragonlance first came out. People were messing around with it because that was when Alacrity was crazy good.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it a ton since that nerf to Alacrity. And you can check right now, by the way, in the difference in terms of net worth. Can they actually kill off Gabby here, by the way? A little bit of stalking up on the high ground. Do have a roar available if they want to initiate. They go for it. Going to be able to bring him down and actually just ever so slightly overextending. They find the kill. But yeah, as I was mentioning, the switch in terms of net worth, about 6,000 in the course of those roughly 6 minutes, and maybe about 6,000 experience as well. It's been a rough going right here for Extremists.
You know, at least for that play, H-God playing it cool, knowing the Clinks is scatting him out, just waiting for that Ember to make that fatal error of gonna like make sort of a kill threat on you or something, and assume you're not gonna be able to just roar me, but Finally, the Blink Dagger comes out, so there's a lot more tools to deal with this Ember, but it's still not that. Honestly, they probably need a scythe on the Klinks. That's a ways away.
Yeah, absolutely. Invoker here is getting scouted out by the Sentry Ward. He realized this as the range creep took a little shot at him, but yeah, they're keeping it cool for the moment. Again, we've talked about this. I think they feel pretty comfortable where they're at right now in the game and don't want to push their luck too much in case things end up going awry. We've all seen these games like this where you feel like one side is just in such a big command of the game, not only in terms of net worth and everything else, but just the general flow of game mechanics. And you can see right now, QZ, I mean, he can right-click down these creeps all that he wants, but eventually he's going to need some type of wave clear ability to do with them, and Maelstrom maybe into Mjolnir is an option, but honestly, that's not great anyways, because you've already got a Deso.
Yeah, we've been seeing it quite a bit lately, just because you need it up against Nature's Prophet. Like, some wave clear does eventually have to come out, or they just need to like go for the win condition now. And they don't have any vision up on that high ground, so they're not quite aware where they're hanging it.
Oh, they should realize this now, and as they ping out that the smoke was broken, it might have actually been about the same time that they were, the smoke was wearing off in general. But BKB is actually going to be the option currently for the Nature's Prophet after already picking up the Aghanim Scepter, not going for the full Rat-tastic mode where he ended up going back for the Octarine. And you can see Ember Spirit now picking up his crit. Like, these are very big items. You got the mechanism on Oracle, you know, Invoker can shoot from afar as well, and I'm starting to worry a lot more about, you know, this timing for Extremist. Is the Blink Dagger that's up on Beastmaster going to be enough? Do they have enough follow-up, enough damage? I mean, their team fight's still incredibly strong, but again, it's worrisome.
Yeah, they're gonna have a hard time locking down the Ember, but if they can, a massive amount of their damage. So the possibility's there, and we still haven't really seen the potential of the Black Hole yet. Man, he has so much armor right now in the Nature's Prophet.
Jeez.
I bet that's when the Ember got chunked.
Yeah, no.
At least the NP lives at half HP.
And right now we're seeing them stalking the Klinks again. The immediate does BKB turnaround. Just gonna start trying to fight people. Fly Solo needs to run away. Again, kind of just skimming out all of his spells right there. He ended up going for that Fate's Edict too, just in case there was anybody that happened to come on in and trying to do any types of magical damage to him. Making sure that he's out of there. But yeah, the BKB up on Klinks is really important, not just because it's going to mean he can't get stunned out in the fight, but that disarm that comes out from the Oracle is so detrimental to any of those right-click damage dealers. So I really like that play. With Roche respawning in a couple of seconds here, I feel like this is a must-get for the side of the Dire.
Yeah, like, sure. The question is, like, how do you grab it with the way these lanes non-stop from the Aghanim Scepter and Prophet? Like, so difficult to actually push these out without someone getting caught, just because it requires you to split up if you're going to get all three pushed out and like limit to the duration of a Roshan killing. So they need to get themselves a big pick off, and I wanted it to be that Ember, but even during that last engagement, he was just taking high ground on the bottom lane, just hitting the tower with an Enigma and a Pugna, just like watching, and he's like, what are you going to do about me? Like, Enigma blinks forward, he presses it, and he's gone. Johnston win the Fire Spirits. Now he's back.
Well, and this is the thing also that's so crazy about this build. Like, this is something that we've seen a couple of times, is Ember with Nature's Prophet. You don't have to expose yourself. You can summon up those treants. If you don't end up seeing a kill over here to the side, the Klinks just destroys the Nature's Prophet. Nicely done with a little bit of help from his friends. But again, you don't have to necessarily expose yourself to danger because you're going to end up being able to TP in on top of those treants. And this might actually be the moment where they can make something happen. They're rotating in. G does spot out that the Klinks is in the area. They have Necrobooks level 3 if he continues to stick around. But with that pickoff and Roche already being slightly low, they're going to be able to take this. Can they take it in time, though? They're all in the area right now for the side of the Radiant. Go with the Tornado. Are going to be able to lift him up. He got the Aegis down. Now trying to turn this back around. Is able to do a lot of damage deep as well. QZ still alive for the moment. It goes for the death back. Turn back around, going for the Black Hole onto Gabby. They caught G2. They're taking away all of his life, but they got the false promise off to try and keep him alive for the moment. Turn back around, still alive. They're going to get the stun off. G is dropping low, and he does end up falling. The Ember escapes, but everybody else is dead. Gem on the ground, an Extremist in a very extreme fashion. Turn that one back around, 2500.
It's gonna get it. They got the gem for the Beastmaster run. No.
And they get the courier too, because why not?
Oh,
pick it back
too.
up. That was a turnaround. That was a really nicely executed turnaround. They found their moment to try and go for it, and they were able to take a little bit of a lead there. But again, Ember Spirit top lane is just hitting your tier 3 tower with nobody around.
Yeah, he is going now though. Yeah, Remnant's about to die, but make his way back home. All right. Well, I mean, it was offering Roshan up to half HP. So thank you very kindly there, led of ACA. And that one pick off in the Nature's Prophet, that is all it really takes to kind of start unraveling this whole like master plan of him constantly spamming the ultimate, and of course the Ember Spirit is showing up in the lane he'd like to keep the push up. And so finally they get a little bit of a foothold back on this map for Extremists. And any bigger items that will be available, they would have the bots here on the Beastmaster, which might be helpful, like getting some of these solo heroes around to rotate in if they want to go for the big push, try and win this game. But again, top lane, Gabby, deal with me. Well,
doing his thing, absolutely, and you got to be able to respond to this, which they are doing. Again, it feels like they're going to need to go for some type of other wave push ability, and it kind of makes me wonder again if the Aghanim Scepter was the perfect option in this. I think that it's okay because, you know, Clinkz is the best at pushing out creep waves, but all of the other supports here can do it rather effectively. So I don't know. It's definitely... I don't think that it was like necessarily the perfect item, but I think it does work. What are your impressions?
It's hard to judge when you're in the game, like what it would look like without the Aghanim Scepter. To me, it does seem like it's doing a pretty massive job of just keeping these lanes pushed out and giving them a lot of maneuverability around the map, and it helps like reduce vision from Extremists. It allows Gabby to be, you know, more free flowing in just between lanes and one spot to the next, so it's very hard to judge what it's able to do for you.
Right. Yeah, I can understand that, and I mean, I guess the other thing is that one big kill that ended up turning it all around. It places so much more emphasis on this Nature's Prophet now, more so than would have previously. Whereas you would normally think like the most important hero in this game to make sure you shut down is the Ember, but even though they ended up being able to get almost a complete and total swipe, as soon as the Nature's Prophet was back up, they couldn't take any other objectives besides Roshan. So it really is kind of this catch-22 where you need to be able to kill the Nature's Prophet to push. Then if you kill the Nature's Prophet to push, then you can't push because the Ember Spirit's still alive. So it's... I guess I can understand it. The death timer respawn is going to be probably pretty freaking relevant throughout the course of this game, and probably the next itemization that come up from Extremists. And speaking of which, we've already got the veil that came up on the Phoenix. Do you think we have seen anything like a Maelstrom, or is it just more initiation items to try and find kills like sheep sticks and such?
I don't know, I really like sheep sticks. His next item, like he finished up the Solar Crest, and I honestly think he only did that because of like saving slots with the Aegis. I'm gonna guess. I feel like he should have just sold him down and went into the scythe anyway.
Okay.
Like you said, there are supports that have this ability to wave clear and quote unquote supports mid lane Pugna, I suppose, but kind of, you know, he doesn't offer quite as much as the Ember Spirit or something like that, so he's kind of down in that support tier.
Yeah, I could see that, and I guess that's really the thing here is, particularly the Aether Lens. We saw right there Ember jumped forward to try and catch the Pugna. He immediately blinked back, ready to make sure that he didn't get taken out, and you know, along the bottom lane here, Beastmaster is able to filter it out pretty well. Oh, swap back. This is going to be a little bit of a problem. He does end up popping his BKB. He's turning around and killing off the Venge. Come at me, anybody. Who needs a team? And it does look like they're going to be able to kill off the Nature's Prophet too. Oh, False Promise keeping him alive for the moment. Scene is going to continue. Gabby is dropping super low and is going to barely be able to survive for the moment, but still more kills come out. Click finishes off the Nature's Prophet. Solo is going to go down as well. Black Hole onto G, and all of a sudden, the game is completely turned back around. Like we saw that one big team fight around Roche Pit, but my goodness, I mean, this is a lane pushed out along the bottom here. They're gonna have creeps with them, and they've got everybody alive with one person back to make sure that they don't pressure in the top lane. This is an incredibly well executed pressure here.
These BKBs of like the longer duration, the initial charges, so much work for QZ. They just can't handle him. Gabby up top though, he's trying to go for the trade. Oh, burn.
Oh, done the buyback immediate. He does not have Roar available, but not a lot of HP left on Gabby right here. Wild Axes and maybe a little boar action could be his undoing, but the big story is down here bottom lane where they kill off the Vengeful Spirit with the long-range Pugna life drain, and a tier 3 tower is about to fall and trade for the one that happened up top. Gabby goes for the Flight of Fist, still doing a lot of damage. QZ, meanwhile, is disarmed, does not want to pop his other BKB charge if he does not have to. Siki again is just tempting fate right now, flirting with greatness, but also danger. Gabby chases. They do have a spread. Decrypt keeping him alive at the moment, trying to get out of there, but it looks like he's just going to be resigned to his fate. I don't know if they're going to be able to find anybody else, just barely able to escape right there. The Phoenix was seconds away from being able to get caught in those chains, but it didn't end up working out. Still a 1,600 gold swing, but more importantly, a lane of racks. And now that you've got this sort of team fight presence that's really strong about extremists, and you know the lane pressure starting to go back the other way, I don't know. Are we changing who we're favoring right now? What do you thought?
I mean, it was a like insanely favorable situation. Like, it's kind of crazy. The fact that Clinks comes in, pops his BKB, and manages to kill essentially like both supports, or at least zone them out, and the Nature's Prophet at the same time, while his team rotates in with the Boots of Travels, and like, taking a fight right there is just so insanely good for extremists that it's like really crazy unlikely to happen, but it did. So I don't know, they have one lane down, so I don't think it's a big issue. You have a Nature's Prophet, you have a Ember Spirit, you have an Invoker. It's like barely gonna make a dent in terms of like the overall creep equilibrium. It has to happen again. Definitely aren't out. Like, getting this lane of racks right now is very crucial, reducing that gold that's coming into them. And at this point, like, you've retaken the lead. So I don't know. I still favor ACA. I think just because it seems like you have to get a couple more of those pickoffs just like that, and it was a kind of crazy situation. But maybe Mad with his side.
It's definitely something where, even though the late game from ACA is so much more impressive, it's worth noting again that this is an essentially open qualifier team against teams that have qualified. Extremists have been around for a while. I think that they played in a couple of they've been around for a long time in the SEA region and the Philippines specifically. And with that type of experience, late game decision making is so much just about the experience of going through it over and over and over again. And maybe this is going to end up being able to carry them through. I don't know. It's definitely something that I wonder about, because just that moment there where QZ realized, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to BKB, and I'm going to fight these people, and I'm going to win because the rest of my team is going to be there. Like, it's pretty relevant. And the other thing that's really cool about this is you look at the rest of the boots that you've got on the side of them. They've got a Boots of Travel level 2 on the Pugna and a Boots of Travel level 1 on the Beastmaster, so they're always going to be there. Chase on to Gabby.
Yeah, they can't kill him now, though. Like, they have the Blink Scythe finally up on the Enigma, but he's got Lincoln.
Oh, yeah. That's a problem. He didn't have a Remnant back, but he was able to TP out of there.
That means he needs to, like, run, though. They won't be able to capitalize on anything.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they were really in a position to make it work anyways, necessarily. Like, they have the Hawk in the area to keep eyes on stuff here, but yeah, it's... I feel like they're not really going to be able to make anything happen with this.
QZ. This would be so huge.
It's kind of just running into them. Do they have much vision right now? Like, they had the gem up, but it doesn't look like they have a whole heck of a lot. They've got dust on several people, but no smoke to break. Nature's Prophet, by the way, went for a Mjolnir.
Weird they haven't bought up that gem again after losing it this time. It is there in the shop. Oheb going down on the Phoenix. There's the egg. He got the spirits off. Okay, living.
Yeah. Nice. I mean, even without the spirits, if it's only one person, it's 8 attacks. I guess he could probably get it there. He's got pretty high agi right now with that Lincoln Sphere and, being an Ember Spirit. But again, pressure on all the towers, like everywhere you look, it's a struggle right now to make sure that they're able to keep the status quo. And it really comes down to, I think, Clinks being able to scout somebody, and then the TP's on in to make sure they follow up with a roar or something else.
That's going to take some major coordination to bring down Gabby once more now that he has that Lincoln Sphere. It'll probably be like Siki popping it from long range with his ulti, I guess, would be like the best way.
And he does have pretty freaking good range on this. Again, like where he's at right now, he can life drain all the way through the Roche pit. Jumps forward, Lincoln Sphere, not popped, but still a little scary. And It looks like G is going to scout out QZ here, looking for his opportunity. Cold Snap's been committed. There's the TP on in. BKB's hopped, and they have people rotating, but not going to be able to make it happen in time. And he does end up falling. And with that alacrity up, that's really starting to be a game changer in terms of the DPS. Also, the Mjolnir on Nature's Prophet really working for him. And also, I guess that he popped his BKB, so it doesn't matter about Blade Mail. But yeah, nice little pick off.
Yeah, it's good. There's a lot more right-click damage on the Invoker now. You can see he's sitting very heavy up there at 285. And Oracle, goodbye.
Oh, swapped? Now 2 are dead. Okay. I think, probably. Question mark? Is he out of there? Is he really doing this? By the way, top lane is a struggle right now. They're taking barracks, and Invoker is up there with alacrity, so just buying time for the rest of his team. They do bring on the Phoenix to try and cut them off a little bit. A lot of damage going. They have broken through the Lincolns. Now, can they finish them off? The Sheep Stick is out. They have Black Hole available if they want to use it. Sun is popped a second time, because that's a really low cooldown. They do end up breaking the Lincolns of G. Still Life Drain available and silenced up. There's the Black Hole committed. He is going to end up down, but the Pugna also dies with the Orchid Burn. Oh man, sad state. And then the bottom lane, the Rat Dota continues the buyback by the Pugna. Already 2 lanes of Rax are dead. He's not going to stop right now. No more Sun up on the Phoenix. He's going to end up going down, just immediately remnanting away, and no possible way to stop him. The Lincoln Spheres have just been choice.
QZ, I'm sure, has so much regret right now. There was that one moment where they had the Scythe finally up on the Ember, and if he bought back there, close enough to the Fountain, he probably could have got the kill. But he decided not to, and then that just made him so much more hesitant to buy back, and then you lose full lanes of Rax versus Aghanim Scepter Nature's Prophet. Like, they haven't been able to get this far with 1 lane of Rax.
Yeah.
Except for that massive, like, entire engagement, like, 1 lane pushed out to, like, here. This looks really rough right now.
Yeah, they're gonna need another really solid pick off, and it's so much more difficult. Immediately, QZ shoots up and gonna start to go down. Left Drain as well as everything else, trying to keep him alive. KB turnaround. Look at the Venge go down. My goodness, Pugna killed off the Oracle there as well with the Remnant. But oh my goodness, where's everybody else? They actually are gonna bring him down here. Maybe they do have Malefice available to be able to kill him off there with the Life Drain. So suddenly the pings come out for going for Roshan. QZ is here in the Roche pit, and it looks like they're changing course. Yeah, they're going straight down for mid. Maybe there's a see. This is the thing. There's a lot of questions right now. Where do they want to go for?
Let's say it will be the Roshan. And Clinks, that means he's gonna buy back. He doesn't have bots though. Maybe that's why the age is just crucial. Can you imagine if the Trans actually did something here?
Oh my god!
All the cheese.
They never stopped. Oh, I think that they did.
They denied the cheese.
Wow, what a freaking couple of players. Oh no, and all time spent in there. QZ's gonna end up getting killed twice. They end up throwing out the tornado. That's actually gonna catch on to the Pugna and finish him off. Oh, buyback status right now. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it for another 5 minutes. Regen rune, but to what end? You look at this right now, and they're barely holding onto their base with all of the treants rushing in. This is just, it's so hard to do anything from this point.
This is like the most frustrating feeling in Dota. This is like 10 times worse than a Naga Siren Radiant. The whole game. These treants, I just don't even know what you can do. Honestly, it just gets so absurd at some point.
Well, and this is the other struggle that you see here is like, and I think that this is why the combo of Nature's Prophet and Ember is so strong, because you have to itemize. Like, you either have to itemize really well to be able to deal with the Ember, or you need to be able to have heroes that deal really well with the Ember, but you also have to have the same thing for Nature's Prophet. So you have so many different needs across your team that coordination is like incredibly valuable, and if it's not absolutely perfect, you're going to end up losing like this. And the jump forward, the catch, they're going to be able to go onto the Phoenix. He's going to end up surviving for the moment. No, but he's dead, and actually just going to be able to sprout BKB away. They don't kill him off. Oh, the buyback from the Phoenix, but they couldn't kill the Nature's Prophet. He's just out of there. Oh, all right, it's rapier time.
Let's go. I gotta say, the best part right now is that this is the best.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's looking more and more like ATA might be able to take it. A little bit of a surprise for me. Again, it was the 4 qualified teams that ended up winning through the open bracket, who ended up facing up against the 4 invited teams, and Extremists were an invited team. So, oh my god, just look at those creep waves crumble, and you can just slow siege this down with the treants. Like, they don't have anything to clear this out too quickly, even with the Veil up.
This is so brutal. This is like painful to watch as a spectator. Oh, that was so close getting roared.
Yeah, and he summoned the Necro Books first. That sucks. That's really hard. Again, just meatballs out for fun. We've got ourselves Mr. G doing his best Weehan impersonation. Worth noting, this is not G from G's on Liquid, right? I'm not crazy. This is not G. Yeah, this is not G, the other Dota 2 player. This is a different Dota 2 player. For everybody out there.
Why do we have a Scotty on our Clinks? Honestly.
That's a little bit. Well, it is what it is, and it looks like that's what he thinks is going to be the best opportunity for him. BKB'd up, and they're just decided to go for the racks. That is going to be a first range one dead. 9 HP gets one last hit there from the final guy. They throw out the tornado. Phoenix scouting a little bit, but hasn't found anything. And again, the crit goes out. Ember Spirit just explodes the Phoenix. Oh man, this is a little bit frustrating. Well. One more melee racks left, ready to go, and I don't know. It's feeling like they're gonna need a miracle to win this one.
Yeah. Well, all the Lincolns. So slippery.
Oh, that was a lot of damage pretty quickly there. Again, Invoker ends up popping. This is one of those moments where you just think about going straight down mid. They can't keep the creeps out of their base, though, and with how mobile everybody is, it's just the quick ability to go in, rat it out, and, you know, then you're trying to push against mega creeps, and that is not an easy task in the least bit. So they're keeping heroes back here. H-God, they have to have the roar available if Ember Spirit tries to get in, but I think he also has this Force Staff here just to make sure that he can go back afterwards for, like, breaking the Lincolns with that. Yeah? Is that the main reason?
Yeah, that's pretty good just for the Lincoln's break. He needed something.
Well, I'm looking
they
for
need
it.
Boots of Travel up on, like... I mean, that's why the Pugman and the Beastmaster are back, is because you have to, like, make some really synchronized play.
No.
Well, it's back home. No
Again,
bots.
look at the entire creep wave is dead, and then they swap in QZ. Oh god, they have the black hole available, only going to be able to catch maybe even one. They're taking in everybody trying to do it, but QZ goes down, and a 1400 damage crit. Like, they went just for the Nature's Prophet a bit, and it killed literally all of the creep waves. And again, Gabby jumps forward, Decrepify or not, it's still going to be a quick kill here, as he's barely going to be able to survive against these trains, and finally gets taken down. By the way, back at home, the pressure's still going to be committed, and H-God can't do anything to stop it. It's just too much.
Oh, it's so unlikely. You're definitely not winning the fight when you set up the Venge. I guarantee that. So.
Yeah. Well, and look at this creep wave that's coming down mid. I mean, you got range creeps, you got treants, you got catapults. They're just pressuring so freaking quickly. And I mean, right now on the buyback status, you bought back on the Clinks, but you couldn't do anything with it. Like, now the next time he dies, the game is basically gonna be over. And at this point, you're running down mid. The only hope, I feel like, is to get some type of solid initiation off. But they actually catch QZ with the chains, trying to chase, maybe gonna be able to finish somebody. They get the false promise at the last second by the Invoker's gonna walk away from this one. He's barely alive at the moment. He might actually still end up popping. No, he survives. Oh, wow. That was tremendous. Again, Oracle, a really good hero.
That was so close.
And there's no pressure for them. The only way that I feel like right now the Radiant loses is if absolutely just lose everybody in a team fight, and then you see the Dire run down mid. And because of that, they can afford to just commit 1 or 2 heroes every now and then and wait for that melee barracks to go down.
It's just like, I don't know how you kill them once and then over again.
Yeah. Well, right, because buyback status, I mean, you've still got it on Ember and Nature's Prophet, the 2 most important heroes in the game right now. Like, they are completely and totally ready. It does look like right now, you know, Extremists are still, they've got all 5 heroes here just ready to push it out. Is there any item that you feel like really transitions this? Like, if they get an item that can clear creep waves quickly, is that sort of the next best opportunity?
I don't even know. It's like QZ is just like fully slotted. I guess maybe if he sells the Solar Crest into, I still feel like he needs a Scythe. I mean, if you can't pop the Link, no point now. But maybe he'll have to just go into a Mjolnir and not have any other option.
Yeah. Well, maybe even think about something like a Beastmaster Maelstrom or anything at this point to be able to make it work. And Pugna, he does a good amount of damage with all of the the Nether Blast that comes, but again, it takes 2 of them to be able to get out there. So maybe something like an Octarine Core. I feel like they can hold this high ground for a while. Ember does a lot of damage, but they don't want to commit to anything. And of course, if he does end up finally being taken down, that Rapier, it's pretty good on Clinks too, from everything that I've seen in pub games, as long as you don't end up dying with it.
Yeah, I might give him that opportunity to keep on rolling. We'll see. He has the crit, right? Yeah, I suppose. Never know with the Clinks. Get one shot.
Yeah. Well, that's the dream. That's the hope. And I guess also, like, given that they only have this very small objective to hold on to, it really does mean, I mean, eventually tier 4 towers are eventually going to start to come into play with the health that they've got, and finally the Ancient, but it feels like they can hold off for a long time, as long as, ACA is not willing to commit completely and totally, which there's no reason for them to, particularly. But is there any sort of, I mean, you've got right now Enigma with the refresher up, so there's the potential there for maybe a turnaround with a big play in that regard, but it's completely visible to the Radiant. So they're just spreading out and farming at this stage and building that, already 12k net worth lead. Actually, ACA has... Oh, wait, sorry. Extremists have a 15,000 experience lead, and ACA have a 12,000 net worth lead.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to this whole, like, dual core status on the Radiant side. And so, I mean, the Invoker's there up there as well, but then, like, the Oracle and Avenger are just, like, so... level 13, level 15, whereas they're getting plenty of creep experience inside of Extremists. There's plenty of creeps, plenty of those little treants jumping on into the base. They need this Aegis, and you see they're getting it now, but both sides keeping an eye here.
Yeah. Well, and that really does feel to be the sort of the turning point here, is if Ember is just able to go in with his rapier and get maybe 4 or 5 swipes off at that melee Rex before anybody can kill him off. I mean, he doesn't have a BKB, and so maybe he gets turned into a sheep and they're able to burn through it one time, but being able to kill it a second time is probably going to be a little bit too much to ask for. Again, Beastmaster keeping pretty good vision of everything, and they're looking for any pick off at all possible. And Vengeful Spirit definitely has proven to be able to be picked off before. Does find immediately onto the Oracle, goes for the Roar that time. Is going to be able to almost completely finish off the Oracle from afar. They go for the False Promise as well as the Fate's Edict, keeping her alive for the moment, but they rotate into the mid lane. Now you've got the Nature's Prophet there, going back the other direction. 2 people ended up disconnecting. Okay. Where are we at, Moppax? Break us down with what's happening on the map right now.
All right. Well, it looks like the Land Cafe that those 2 were at some crash, so they're okay. Or they're rather gone. Well, Clinks, he has no blink or anything like that, so he can't make his way to the mid lane. They just lost the Roar. They're already ready to go here. The lockdown is there. They could go for like some play here from the Enigma, and he's not going to catch him though. Great quit. Haha. Got him.
God. Oh, look at that damage. Again, they push it out, they killed off the Venge, so it was a nice little play, but took a little bit of damage from the melee barracks. This is going to regen back up again, but it's just sort of one of those things where every time it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back, as they have to push out these creeps again.
Hello,
Roche
Roche.
is up.
Finally time.
So do you give this to the Ember every time? By the way, he has a second Rapier in his stash right now. Or is it more worth it to maybe go back for like a Nature's Prophet pickup here, or the Invoker possibly? Who's your money on?
I think the Invoker would be pretty sick, but they're all lacking the slots. I don't think they can give it to the Ember. I don't think he can hold it. Finally, it does come out. QZ, so he's gonna need a little help from his friends.
Gotcha.
Lincoln's. Alright, yeah, I like the Invoker, just because, low mana, low HP, suddenly comes back online and everything's there. He doesn't have that Aghanim Scepter, though, which is kind of crazy, considering the situation.
Yeah, he's gone for much more of... You're talking about the Invoker, correct? The much more right-click build. He dropped his Dragonlance there as well, deciding finally that was not the item for him. But yeah, the sort of longer cooldown on Invoke by 5 seconds, it's still not terrible, but it takes a little bit longer to spam out those spells. Meanwhile, back along the other side, they're going to be able to catch here. Magic Missile is thrown from the Vengeful Spirit, but they have been able to... Oh god, look at him, Paul. He's going to go so quickly, but QZ turns onto the Invoker, not able to do enough. They end up being able to get the Hex off on the fly solo. That's going to be a kill onto the Oracle. Again, back at home, though, they're doing a lot of damage over to the side here. They do catch onto the Nature's Prophet, just barely almost able to kill up the Beastmaster, but it does survive. The Crossflex does come out as well, able to get off that EMP damage, and G slowed up by the Spirit, still alive for the moment, silenced up. That might be a kill, possibly. He's barely alive right now, just trying to run away and wasn't able to catch there with the Deafening Blast. So the battle continues, and the whole time the Sunstreak is not going to connect. Oh, it's really close. Yeah, he's in a little bit of trouble if he does stick around, but Wisely is going to back out. Again, this a very messy team fight, and creeps continue to pour in.
Just can't quite get that crit there. Coming back in now once more onto the Phoenix. There he goes.
Oh, the damage from Gappy is so... And what do you do against this? Like, he goes for one more Sleight of Fist on the Ember, and now the Invoker goes forward. Oh, there's going to be another follow-up. They actually are almost able to kill him off. They end up turning him into a sheep. The swap back, keeping him alive for the moment. They only need one more hit. Siki couldn't finish him. Oh, the swap, the everything committed. Gabby's back into it, just completely destroying the Pug. 3 heroes right now are left alive over on the high ground, and meanwhile, the Beastmaster's just trying to run away. Q is going ham, though. Already able to finish off Vengeful Spirit. Can he find anybody else? Gabby gets it. That's going to be the kill, and they missed the goal. Oh no, it was just a little bit delayed. It would have been the greatest. They could have turned the game around, but now that we've done everything, oh, it hurts. Desolator on the Invoker, because why not? Oh god. And then they kill the Beastmaster.
KBing up. He might die for this. Yeah.
GG, well played, gets called. That was the moment where there was a chance potentially that they could have turned it back around with the Black Hole, but it just didn't end up working out. Again, game 1 in a best of 3, and if this game is any indication, it's certainly going to be exciting moving forward through the rest of this one. We do have a secondary match, which is going to take place afterwards. If you guys are in the mood, it's going to be TNC facing off against Phoenix. Again, that is not MVP Phoenix, but rather just the team Phoenix. And we're going to be sticking around throughout with you guys. So at Lyrical